Ever get that feeling like some things are just like way older than time itself, you know?
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of the vibe I'm getting prepping for this deep dive today.
Okay.
You've asked us to unpack the history of the Bhagavad Gita,
Right.
which is already like super ancient.
Yeah.
But what if I told you this wisdom claims to go back millions of years?
Really?
Like way before the pyramids, before Stonehenge,
Wow.
like before those giant sloths were roaming the earth.
It's true. And what's so fascinating is that the Gita doesn't just offer like spiritual teachings.
Okay.
It actually kind of hints at its own incredible history.
It does.
Yeah, it's all right there in the text itself.
Okay, so we're not just talking like dusty scrolls and guesswork here.
No.
We're working with the Gita's own account of its origins.
Exactly. Specifically, we're diving into excerpts from a chapter all about the transcendental knowledge within the Gita.
Okay.
And it claims this wisdom was first spoken not to humans, but to the sun god Vivasvan by Krishna.
Hold up the sun god. Okay,
Yeah.
things just got real. But seriously, millions of years ago, how can they even like put a date on something that old?
Well, according to the Gita's own calculations, this transmission happened at the dawn of the Treta Yuga.
The what?
So imagine this vast cosmic cycle,
Okay.
right? And we're talking millions of years ago within this cycle, over 120 million to be exact.
120 million years.
Yeah.
Whoa, to put that into perspective, modern humans have only been around for like a blink of an eye compared to that.
I know.
You're telling me this wisdom has been around since T-Rex was stomping around? I mean, it's like finding a user manual for life from before life as we know it even existed.
And get this, it wasn't just like a one-time download either.
No.
The Gita emphasizes this direct lineage of transmission,
Okay.
like a chain of wisdom passed down through the ages.
Okay.
Vivasvan, the sun god, shared this knowledge with Manu,
Okay.
who, according to the Gita, is like the OG ancestor of humanity.
Right.
Manu then passed it to Maharaja Ikshvaku, a king who ruled right here on Earth.
Wow.
And the chain goes on from there.
It's mind-blowing when you think about it. Imagine trying to trace back the origins of, say, the alphabet
Right.
to the very first person who, like, ever scratched those symbols in the dirt.
Yeah.
It's nearly impossible.
Wow.
But the Gita is claiming to be that source code passed down, pristine and untouched for millions of years.
Yeah.
Okay, so this knowledge is so ancient.
Yeah.
How does it actually show up in the narrative of the Bhagavad Gita?
Right.
I mean, are we talking like time travel here?
That's where it gets even wilder. The text actually addresses this head on.
It does.
Yeah.
Okay.
Arjuna, the main human character in the Gita story,
Right.
is understandably tripped out when he hears about these teachings that supposedly predate humanity itself.
Yeah, I'd be asking some serious questions at that point. Like, hold on, are you saying you were there, Krishna?
Exactly. And Krishna's response gets right to the heart of his divine nature.
Okay.
He basically says, "Of course I was there, Arjuna. Unlike you humans, I remember all my previous births."
Whoa, okay, time to put on our metaphysical thinking caps here.
I know, right?
So the Gita is operating within this framework of reincarnation, right?
Right.
Where the soul keeps getting reborn into new bodies.
Exactly.
Okay.
But here's the distinction.
Okay,
Krishna, as a manifestation of the divine,
right.
isn't bound by that cycle in the same way.
Okay.
He transcends those limitations.
Yeah.
He doesn't change bodies like we do.
Oh, wow.
His consciousness is continuous, eternal.
So while we're stuck hitting the reset button every lifetime,
Right.
he's got this unbroken thread of memory stretching back millions of years. It's like he's plugged into the cosmic cloud, downloading all of existence. What would it even feel like to experience time that way?
It's a mind-blowing concept, right?
Yeah.
And it highlights this contrast the Gita draws between the soul's journey and the eternal nature of Krishna.
Okay.
Think about it. What would it do to your perspective
Yeah.
if you carried the weight of lifetimes within you?
Right.
How would it change your understanding of who you are?
Okay, so this knowledge has existed for millions of years,
Right.
passed down through this incredible lineage,
Yeah.
but it makes you wonder, like, why appear now?
Right.
In this time and place? What's the purpose of Krishna revealing himself and delivering these teachings, not just once, but over and over again?
That's a question the Gita addresses directly.
It does.
Yeah. Krishna states that he descends to the earthly realm whenever there's a decline in religious practice
Okay.
and a rise in irreligion, or adharma.
A dharma.
He comes to reestablish dharma, to set things right, so to speak.
Dharma, that word comes up a lot in Eastern philosophy. For those of us just getting our feet wet,
Sure.
could you break it down for us?
Absolutely. Dharma is kind of a multifaceted concept,
Okay.
often translated as righteousness duty
Okay.
or cosmic order.
Right.
It's about living in alignment with the fundamental principles that govern the universe.
Okay.
Imagine the universe has like a set of blueprints,
Okay.
and Dharma is about making sure your life is built according to those cosmic plans.
Okay, I'm starting to get a sense of it.
Yep.
But how does the Gita itself define Dharma? Where do those principles come from?
The Gita links Dharma to the Vedas.
Okay.
Think of the Vedas like ancient Indian scriptures,
Okay.
considered the ultimate source of spiritual knowledge. They're like the original instruction manual for humanity.
Right.
The Gita suggests that true Dharma involves understanding and following the wisdom of the Vedas,
Okay.
which ultimately leads to surrendering to Krishna himself.
So surrendering to Krishna is the ultimate act of Dharma. That might sound a little intense for some people.
It might sound paradoxical,
Yeah.
but it's not about blind obedience. It's about consciously aligning your actions and your will
Okay.
with a higher purpose, with divine consciousness.
So instead of being driven by ego or desires,
Right.
it's about tapping into that eternal truth that Krishna embodies.
Precisely.
Hmm.
And the Gita suggests that those who truly grasp this,
Okay.
who dedicate themselves to this path of knowledge and surrender,
Okay.
attain liberation or moksha from
Right.
suffering.
Okay.
They break free from that endless cycle of birth and death and reach Krishna's eternal abode.
Wow. Okay. And just to be crystal clear, this liberation, this breaking free from the cycle,
Yeah.
it's not just some distant goal, right?
You've hit on a crucial point. The Gita emphasizes that the act of seeking this understanding,
Okay.
the very pursuit of this knowledge,
Right.
is the beginning of the journey.
Okay.
It's in that seeking, that turning inwards,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
we start to loosen the grip of those attachments that keep us bound to the cycle of suffering.
We often hear about different paths to enlightenment,
Yeah.
even in ancient traditions.
Sure.
What sets the Gita's approach apart?
That's a great question. The Gita acknowledges those different paths.
Okay.
Some people worship deities for material gain. Others sought impersonal merging with the universe.
Right.
But the Gita's message is this. The highest path is recognizing that all actions, when done with Krishna consciousness,
Okay.
contribute to spiritual awakening.
Right.
It's about transforming our consciousness from material focus to a spiritual one.
Yeah.
And this knowledge is the key.
It makes you wonder if there are certain truths that are best understood not just through reading, but through experience, through guidance from someone who's already walked the path. It's a lot to take in. But that's the beauty of a deep dive, right? You've given us a lot to think about, this idea of ancient wisdom passed down through millennia, offering a path to liberation. If the Gita's message resonates, perhaps this ancient wisdom holds even deeper relevance for us today. Maybe it's not just about going back in time, but about accessing a timeless truth within ourselves.